You know that moment when you don't even get told anything directly, but you can feel the shift anyway, like you've entered a space where someone has already decided something about you in their head, and now they're just acting it out in small, careful ways. That quiet tension where nothing is wrong, but everything feels slightly curated around your presence. Yes, that. Let's talk about it, because if you've been sensing that lately, you're not imagining the pattern, you're just finally noticing how subtle it can be when someone is internally reacting to you more than they're actually engaging with you. And here's the part most people miss. Jealousy isn't always loud, and it's rarely honest. It doesn't introduce itself. It leaks in tone changes, in delayed warmth, in unnecessary correction, in little performances of indifference that don't match the emotional attention you're still somehow receiving. And if you're emotionally aware, you start trying to solve it. What did I do? How do I fix this? How do I make it normal again? But the uncomfortable truth is that some of what you're sensing has nothing to do with your behavior, and everything to do with your presence being processed through someone else's comparison system. And comparison, when it's unregulated, turns people reactive. Now here's where it gets interesting. Reactive people don't actually want resolution, even though they think they do. They want regulation. And if they can't regulate themselves internally, they'll unconsciously look for external regulation, something to bounce off, something to respond to, something to make them feel stable again. And your reactions become very valuable in that dynamic, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your response confirms that they still have access to you emotionally. So they test lightly or subtly. They push, they withdraw, they overcorrect, they say something slightly sharp, and watch what happens next. Not always consciously, but the pattern is there. And if you're not aware of it, you start living inside their emotional weather instead of your own baseline. The shift, the real shift, is when you stop treating other people's emotional state as something you are responsible for decoding in real time. You can notice it without entering it. You can see the behavior without becoming the behavior, because the moment you try to manage it, you're participating in it. And what makes this especially tricky is that jealousy doesn't always look hostile. Sometimes it looks like attention that feels slightly off, or praise that has an edge, or interest that comes with a need to subtly reestablish hierarchy. And if you're someone who naturally reflects energy, you'll start adjusting yourself without realizing it, softening, shrinking, over-explaining, being extra agreeable just to smooth the invisible friction. That's the part that drains you, not the jealousy itself, but your reaction to it. And the quiet power move is not confrontation, it's non-participation. No emotional overcorrection, no proving, no trying to rebalance something you didn't create. Just staying anchored enough that someone else's internal comparison process doesn't pull you out of your own center. Because the truth is, people can think whatever they want, but they only gain access to your nervous system if you let your reactions become the center of the interaction. And when you stop doing that, everything gets very clear very fast. Some people settle, some people distance, some people escalate, but none of it requires you to contort yourself anymore. And that's the part that actually feels like freedom. Not being unbothered in theory, but being so internally steady that you don't need to solve what someone else is privately struggling with. Love you no matter what.